majority of U.S. churches have applied for and most have received IRS 501c3 tax-exempt status. Being granted 501c3 approval allows churches to be 100% exempt from federal income and property taxes and to receive other favorable treatment under U.S. tax law. Yes, churches that want to offer their worshipers tax-deductible receipts every year for their giving and donations must have 501c3 status. This video will look at whether or not the 501c3 status has been good or bad for U.S. churches and their congregations. A form of a tax-exempt code was actually started back in 1894, but it was reinforced heavily in 1954. Through the efforts of Senator Lyndon Johnson. Johnson wanted to silence the influence churches were having on the public, so he created the 501c3 code. While gaining tax-exempt status brings along certain advantages for churches, it also means they forfeit much of their freedom of speech to speak out on many vital issues of the day. They also live under a spirit of fear that if they don't comply with the IRS, that they could lose their tax-exempt rights, becoming a state church. 501c3 churches in America have a number of supposed advantages over non-code churches. Here are some of them. Nonprofits can pay salaries. Their staffs can make a nice living while doing good. They can give their supporters tax-deductible receipts every year for all cash and non-cash donations. Government and private grants. They can pursue grants available only to tax-exempt organizations. Access to government food banks. They can obtain food to give to needy people. Employee fringe benefits. They can acquire fringe benefits for their staffs, generally not available to self-employed people or business owners. This can include life insurance, health insurance, pension, and retirement plans. Discounts on items they purchase at stores and businesses. Many nonprofits and their employees get purchase discounts if they can provide a copy of their 501c3 status letter from the IRS, and many other advantages. Once a church, ministry, or religious organization becomes fully 501c3 compliant, they'll come under severe scrutiny by the IRS should they do the following: make disparaging remarks about or criticize any other faith group or religion, that publicly declaring we are to obey God rather than government, to support one political candidate or another, to support or encourage the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, to support or encourage a law-abiding citizens' militia, to criticize globalism or organizations like the United Nations, to criticize governmental agencies or officials, or to refuse to work together with governmental agencies and other denominational churches for the national good during times of crisis and other governmental operations. And perhaps there are several more ways to trigger governmental scrutiny on churches. But if the main reason for a church to become 501c3 is to obtain tax deductions for their congregants based on their giving, a big question has to be asked. Shouldn't a donor's heart be giving to a ministry because they want to be faithful to God, other than receiving God's blessings, not really expecting anything back in return? It's an interesting thing to ponder. One final note of history: there have been some churches who held the belief that government should hold no authority over the church. A famous case was the Indianapolis Baptist Temple. Their minister, Greg Dixon, refused to withhold taxes and Social Security payments from its employees' paychecks. A federal district judge, Sarah Evans Barker, ruled the Baptist Temple owed $6 million in back taxes and interest. When the church refused to pay, federal marshals seized the church property and told the church members to vacate it on February 13, 2001. As new church planting grows, faith-based ministries gain members, and street ministries in the U.S. continue to grow, it will be interesting to see if their ministries take a different view than mainline traditional churches on the 501c3 issue. This is H.A. Graves.